Let me come back now to the meeting. I'll try to compress so that I actually take less time than I was allocated, so that we can have a time where we can interact with all, even the chief guest. We are here as business people. We are here as entrepreneurs. We are here as investors. But sometimes do you quip to ask yourself, what is the difference? What are you? Because there must be a reason why in the dictionary there is a different word for being a businessman, for being an entrepreneur, for being an investor. Because if it meant the same, then it will be one word or one definition. So this morning, we need to trace ourselves so that we find whether we are in the right locus. But then we know that Nyoro is a politician. Why was he invited? In brief, I actually started business earlier than politics, because in class 6 I had my first kiosk, class 6. And I'm not telling you those stories of I started a big farm with an apple or no. That's not what I'm doing. Out of necessity, from a mud house, from a father who was living in Kiadutu slums in Thika, and a peasant farmer mother, and in a family where the only person who had a car was my uncle, maternal actually. After studying my uncle's life, I actually saw that he never progressed with education so much. So I thought I can take a shortcut like my uncle. Hakuna haja ya kujichosha na masomo. He was driving a KUI. He had never been to high school. So I started my first kiosk, and I could go buy some shopping. Hapo nyumbani kwetu kwa fence, nikakata nikaeka ka kiosk, ashanti. But of course in class 6, when you have 200 bob in your pocket, there is nothing a mathematics teacher can tell you. So because I could not listen very keenly, my education ikaanza kwenda chini, ama grades. And my godmother mwenye alinisimamia nikipatizwa was my teacher and my village mate called Mrs. Karanja. So at the time wakati my father came from Kiadutu, he used to come over weekends. Kamwambia, your son is good, lakini masomo inaleta shida kwa sababu ya duka. So my father forced me to liquidate, but he was kind enough to actually pay me for the entire stock, which was just around 600 shillings. Then I progressed, nikamaliza hapo. Nikaenda Kiabugi Secondary School. It's just neighboring our place. And I'm saying this because it was more out of necessity. From my first year hapo, Form 1, nikaanza kuwa cobra wa kushona viatu. And those who are there can attest. These are not stories where we only give as politicians. This is real stories. So I started making shoes, progressed later into running school kiosk. School kiosk was being run by clubs, drama club, science club, officials. So I made sure I vowed to be an official in almost all the clubs, so that I ran the canteen uninterrupted, so that we could buy some bread for the club, and of course some for ourselves to get the profit, and then to make the ends meet. Later on in my third year, my Form 3, Form 4, my elder sister had a mutumba in Thika. Maybe that's where I got the courage ya kuongea mbele ya watu sana. Because in my over holiday I used to go to Thika. Pahali inaitwa Mukereti, wenye mnajua Thika. Sasa hii kumejengwa manyumba mrefu. But before it was a market. So I used to sell mutuba there. Kumi ni baobao, bei ni ya kufunga. Nguo za watoto especially I used to sell. University, when I was joining KU, I had 2 goals. One was to deepen my leadership, but number 2 is to expand in terms of business. So when I joined KU, my first year, first help, I paid for my school fees for the whole year for KU. But the second semester help in the same first year, I, number one, started a kiosk. Those who are from KU, you know KM. I started a hotel there, and I called it Vatican Cave. But, and I remember one time, it was Valentine's Day, we had gone to buy sufurias with a person I had borrowed some money ya kuanza hiyo kahoteli. That guy is called Wamwere, now he's in the UK. And we had gone to buy sufurias in Gekoba for that hotel of mine. Then Wamwere told me I have a girlfriend. Alikuwa nauza phone accessories along Rudhuri Avenue. Since gari za KU ziko tu hapo karibu, matatu, tukaenda tukisalimia girlfriend ya Wamwere. When we reached there carrying sufurias, the lady was looking at us like she does not even know us. Later on, Wamwere was dumped. This was the main reason. Kwa council ya wazee, this was the main reason. Number one, we didn't know it was Valentine's Day. So, he ought to have gone to see the girlfriend in a different manner. But number two, Wamwere had already told the girlfriend that he's doing a degree KU ya teaching na some economics uko katikati. So the lady was wondering, hii ni B.Ed gani na economics gani watu wananunua sufuria? Kwani ni home science? So of course we started that business na tukafanya hapo. The classmates used to come eat. After eating they tell me tuonane class. And they know I used to skip a lot of classes because of that hotel. So out of my classmates who are here, I'll tell the chief if he's around, you made my hotel collapse. Then the same year, because I was determined nikitoka mashinani, mi naenda first of all to polish my leadership, but also to look for money. Yo ikaanguka hoteli. The same semester, I decided to vie as a student leader in my first year as Congress person in the School of Humanities in KU then. So I vied, lost by 4 votes. Then I was wondering, I think nitaacha hii kiberebere because hoteli imeanguka, ndio hii politics ya hapo shule ni kama nimeanguka pia. There is something that happened in my second semester in KU. My sister, anaitwa Esther, came to visit. I think she was the first person relative to visit me in campus. You know, sisi watu wa hiyo age, kitoka mashinani now you become a breadwinner. Sio kupiga simu utumiwe pesa, ni wewe utume help. So my sister came to visit, elder sister. I was so broke. I had started a hotel through my help and some borrowing from Wamwele, it had collapsed. I had vowed to be a student leader, I hadn't made it. We were so broke, tukienda kumaliza semester, we could barely afford a meal. So with my friend Jemo, who was either my roommate or next, hapo tu karibu, he was one of my best friends. So my sister came to visit, brought us meat, nyama, and we were so broke. Then we decided with Jemo, tukifanya hesabu ya kwenye semester imebakia, kula nyama inatuumiza. So we decided to sell the meat. so that we can push some days kukula ugali na matoto. So that first semester, long vacation. Hapa unamaliza mwaka uende second year. Of course me I had decided sirudi mashinani. So my uncle akanipea kanyumba hapo Lang'ata. I used to go mguu mpaka town. Nikapata some internship in the Ministry of Trade. But then when I was loitering around, I decided my former MP called Genye Kariuki niende nikamtoanisha kitu. So I was, you know, wakati hiyo comrade, saa hiyo nimematch kiatu ya black, of course iko na vubi, na trouser ya black, na shati ya black. Sasa unajiona umematch ile mbaya. na nimebeba bahasha as usual. Sijui kwa nini, when you are a student in campus or after you finish, you always carry a CV as a default setting. So I was carrying a brown envelope, was going to my former MP's office, but I was going there kumuonyesha he can rely on me in terms of kura za my youths, so that anipatie kitu, inipatie fare ya kukaa Nairobi. So nikapata a meeting. I was told you can leave your CV, but I was not going there to look for a job. I was going there to look for money, cheap money. Then later on he called me within that week, and I went to his office, and akaniuliza, kijana ulikuwa unatafuta kazi? Kamwambia, yes sir. When do you want to start? Today sir. Nikaanza kazi hapo ya stock broking. The reason I've given all that background is because I do stock broking up to today. And that is the basis where I learned investments. I mean, raw investments, especially in the Nairobi Securities Exchange. So whatever you read about Kenya Power, that is the genesis of me buying shares. I'm sure some of you have read something about it. In terms of investing in Kenya Power, investing in the Nairobi Securities Exchange, that is my genesis. Later on, of course, started an IT company. We now, as politicians, we may not go into details, but I do business in IT, in financial services, majorly IT and financial services. Hiyo I think was ibaki hapo. So business, you are a businessman. What's the distinction between a businessman and an entrepreneur? A businessman seeks to expand the business they are doing.